Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next hour. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu urges the United Nations chief to move peacekeepers in Lebanon out of harm's way immediately. Iran says there are no red lines in defending itself.
Mr. Secretary General, get the UNIFIL forces out of harm's way. It should be done right now, immediately.
Pakistan tightens security ahead of the SCO summit. Section 144 imposed in Karachi and Punjab provinces. Baloch Liberation Army denies involvement in the mine attack on workers in Balochistan. India's President Droupadi Murmu on a 3 African nation visit. And India's Gati Shakti National Master Plan completes 3 years of its success. Prime Minister Narendra Modi lauds the transformative initiative. So West Asia remains on high alert for further escalation in a year of war as Israel battles Iran-backed groups Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza. Israel's military said it continues to operate in southern Lebanon to dismantle Hezbollah infrastructure. For this, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu urged the UN Secretary General to remove UNIFIL forces from combat areas in Lebanon. A report. As the conflict between Hezbollah and Israel continues, Israeli military on Sunday ordered residents of 21 more Lebanese villages to evacuate to areas north of the Avali River, which flows through southern Lebanon. On Sunday, Israeli Prime Minister urged the UN Secretary General to remove United Nations interim force in Lebanon, UNIFIL forces from combat areas there.
Mr. Secretary General, get the UNIFIL forces out of harm's way. It should be done right now, immediately.
We are not fighting the Lebanese people. We are fighting the Iranian terror branch Hezbollah, which took over Lebanon. I want to address the UN Secretary General directly from here. It is time that you take UNIFIL out of Hezbollah strongholds and out of the combat area. The IDF repeatedly asked for that and was refused repeatedly with the aim of providing Hezbollah terrorists with a human protecting shield. Your refusal to evacuate UNIFIL soldiers makes them hostages in the hands of Hezbollah. It endangers them as well as our soldiers.
His statement came after 34 countries contributing troops to UNIFIL in a joint statement on Saturday called on all to respect the UNIFIL's mission and ensure the safety of its personnel. India too backed the statement, saying safety and security of peacekeepers were of paramount importance. India's permanent mission to the UN in New York said on social media platform X, as a major troop contributing country, India aligns itself fully with the joint statement issued by the 34 UNIFIL troop contributing countries. Safety and security of peacekeepers are of paramount importance and must be ensured in accordance with the extant UNSC resolutions. Israel's army also published on Sunday videos showing what it said was a Hezbollah militant entrenched in a tunnel in southern Lebanon. While Hezbollah rocket barrages triggered sirens across northern Israel overnight and early Sunday morning. In Haifa, sirens and explosions blared across the bay. On the other hand, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi held a joint news conference with Iraqi Foreign Minister Fuad Hussein in Baghdad.
The continuation and expansion of the war towards the Islamic Republic of Iran and the use of Iraqi airspace as a corridor is unacceptable and absolutely rejected.
Further, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said that there would be no red lines for the country in defending its people and interests. In Gaza, Israeli military was seen pressing operations in Jabalia, where soldiers were dismantling Hamas strongholds. Israel in Tel Aviv. Families of Israeli hostages held by Hamas since October 7th gathered on Saturday night after Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish calendar, drew to a close.
It's important every day. We are standing here every day and we don't miss a single day, even if it's Yom Kippur. The hostages are still there. There's no break for them. It's not like it's holiday, so the conditions are different.
Amid all this, aids continue to pour in Lebanon. On Sunday, a Saudi plane carrying food and medical aid bound for Lebanon departed from Riyadh. Video released by King Salman Relief and Humanitarian Center showed supplies being loaded onto a plane in Riyadh. Bureau Report, DD India.
So as the UN peacekeepers in Lebanon come under Israeli fire, RT correspondent has sent us this interaction with the UNIFIL spokesperson, Andrea Tententi.
You know, we are always very careful in giving responsibilities and also giving the benefit of the doubts during heavy shelling and exchanges of fire. But yesterday, the three attacks were very much considered, even from our statement, deliberate attack, hitting cameras of the base, illumination, and peacekeepers inside headquarters. So I don't know what the threat is inside the headquarters of the mission. So this is why it's very concerning. And it's concerning also because they asked us several days ago to leave our positions close to the line. And we decided to stay because it's important for the UN flag to fly in the area where we have been mandated by the Security Council. Well, we've been saying all along, this, of course, is more than a serious situation because the conflict has been going on for 1 year. But the last month has seen a tragic developments of the conflict and the tension. As you said, thousands of people have been killed. In the last month, more people killed that in the conflict in 2006. And so that's really concerning. And that's why it's important for urgent de-escalation. But to do that, you also need the international community to be present and to find viable solutions, because the conflict between Hezbollah and Israel is not only between two countries. This conflict can turn a real regional conflict with catastrophic consequences. There are no winners here. Whoever is a winner will not be a winner, because there is no solution through a military confrontation. The only solution is political or diplomatic. There is no solution with violence.
On to the other conflict raging in Europe now. Russia has been trying for more than 2 months to repel Ukrainian forces that seized part of the Kursk region in a surprise incursion. On Sunday, Russian glide bombs struck a concentration of Ukrainian troops near the border of Russia's western Kursk region. Here's more.
Russia's main offensive on the front has resumed its dominance as it continues to capture significant border areas with Ukraine. On Sunday, Russia's defense ministry said its forces had taken control of the village of Mikhailivka in eastern Ukraine and are advancing towards the important logistic hub of Pokrovsk.
We moved to my parents' house 20 kilometers away, but there will probably be no life there either. It's all material. All this was made during the life. Neither we nor our children will live here. I want some kind of compensation, but I doubt it.
Russia launched 68 drones and 4 missiles targeting Ukraine overnight on Sunday. 2 Iskander-M ballistic missiles struck the Poltava and Odessa regions, while 2 Kh-59 guided missiles targeted Chernihiv and Sumy. Ukraine's air defense managed to destroy 31 drones, with 36 likely intercepted by electronic warfare. Russia has been trying for more than 2 months to repel Ukrainian forces that seized part of the Kursk region in a surprise incursion. On Sunday, Russian glide bombs struck a concentration of Ukrainian troops near the border of Russia's western Kursk region. Amid the ongoing conflict, Russian state-owned energy company Gazprom announced that it would send 42.3 million cubic meters of gas to Europe via Ukraine, the same volume as the previous day. In 2023, Russia shipped about 15 billion cubic meters of gas via Ukraine. Ukraine is not willing to extend its gas transit agreement with Russia after it expires on December 31st, 2024. Bureau Report, DD India.
The US presidential election campaign is in full swing, with Republican nominee Donald Trump shaking things up by holding a rally in the Democratic stronghold of California. On the other hand, Democratic nominee Kamala Harris has taken a different approach, releasing her medical reports in a bid to counter her opponent's fitness for the top job. DD India's Mihir Mekuri brings us more on this evolving race.
With the race to the White House in top gear, candidates are going all out to win over voters. Normally, the final sprint is reserved for key battleground states, but in a surprising twist, Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump broke from tradition on Saturday, rallying in the heart of Democratic California. During his Coachella rally, Trump targeted US Vice President and Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris's home state, California, highlighting issues of affordability and struggles with homelessness and also immigration.
Kamala Harris and the radical Democrats have destroyed this state. California's it's a paradise lost, but we're going to bring it back. Don't worry about it. We're bringing it back. Today, California has the highest inflation, the highest taxes, the highest gas prices, the highest cost of living, the most regulations, the most expensive utilities, the most homelessness, the most crime, the most decay, and the most illegal aliens. Other than that, I think you're doing quite well, actually.
In the battleground state of Nevada, Donald Trump participated in a panel discussion aimed at Latino voters on Saturday. Locked in a close contest, Kamala Harris made a strategic move on Saturday, releasing a letter from her doctor declaring her in good health and fit for the highest office. The timing is no coincidence, as the move is being seen as a clear attempt to draw a sharp contrast with her rival Donald Trump, with health and fitness for leadership becoming hot campaign topics.
So today I released my medical records, as has, I believe, every candidate for President of the United States except Donald Trump in this election cycle. And it's just a further example of his lack of transparency, that on top of his unwillingness to debate again, his unwillingness to do an interview with 60 Minutes, which again is part of the norm of what anyone running for President of the United States does. And I think that it's obvious that his team, at least, does not want the American people to see everything about who he is.
With just 22 days to go until November 5th vote, the clock is ticking. All eyes are now on both candidates, and it's anyone's guess how this final stretch will shape the outcome. Mihir Mekuri reporting for DD India.
Still to come on DD India News Hour. Lithuanians vote to elect new parliament amid cost of living, security worries. Thousands march in Spain to demand affordable housing amid rising anger from Spaniards who feel they are being priced out of the market. Veteran Scottish leader Alex Salmond dies after falling ill while attending a conference in North Macedonia.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I am Tanvi Taneja. India's Prime Minister Gati Shakti National Master Plan for Multimodal Connectivity completes 3 years on Sunday. Launched on October 13th in 2021, the scheme achieved significant milestones in transforming the country's infrastructure landscape. The scheme helped in boosting the pace of development in the country. The scheme constitutes of 7 engines, including road, railways, airports, ports, public transport, waterways and logistics infrastructure.
PM Gati Shakti has integrated 44 central ministries and 36 states and union territories with more than 1600 data layers, making it a crucial tool for planning and executing infrastructure projects. The platform has significantly improved interministerial coordination and streamlined project execution. Impacting social sector ministries, PM Gati Shakti enabled better infrastructure planning in essential areas such as primary healthcare, education, postal services and travel development, ensuring that even remote and underserved areas are part of India's infrastructure growth story. While in a unified approach under PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, platform states have streamlined their capital investment for accelerating infrastructure development. The scheme, launched under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership, elevated India's rank by 6 places from 44 to 38 in World Bank's Logistic Performance Index Report 2023. The PM Gati Shakti's data-driven approach is powered by GIS-based tools and a real-time monitoring system that enables faster and more informed decision-making. Under PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, Indian Railways has surveyed over 49,983 km length for development of multimodal connectivity infrastructure in various economic zones. The platform also ensures that projects are aligned with national priorities and completed on time. This integration is key to meeting India's net zero by 2070 commitments. Over 1,000 officials are trained under the scheme for training and capacity building purposes. As India moves forward, the PM Gati Shakti is expected to continuously evolve to keep playing a pivotal role in expanding multimodal infrastructure, developing smart cities, and enhancing the country's industrial capabilities through industrial corridors and mega investment regions. Sharing of non-sensitive and shareable data with the non-government users is also being considered. PM Gati Shakti District Master Plan portal is also being developed with technical support of BISAC-N or Bhaskaracharya National Institute for Space Applications and Geoinformatics for collaborative planning at the district level by state and district authorities. Taking PMGS to international level, diplomatic engagements are underway with countries in the neighborhood and other developing countries like Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Madagascar, Senegal and Gambia. Bureau Report, DD India.
On completion of the 3 years of the PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the scheme has emerged as a transformative initiative aimed at revolutionizing India's infrastructure. In a post on social media platform X, Prime Minister Modi said, PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan has emerged as a transformative initiative aimed at revolutionizing India's infrastructure. It has significantly enhanced multimodal connectivity, driving faster and more efficient development across sectors. The seamless integration of various stakeholders has led to boosting logistics, reducing delays and creating new opportunities for several people. Prime Minister Narendra Modi made a surprise visit to the PM Gati Shakti Anubhuti Centre at Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi on the 3rd anniversary of this path-breaking initiative. His vision to reimagine India's infrastructure creation has crossed several milestones, spanning the planning and execution of projects, the all-round impact it has created by not only saving time and resources, but also making a social impact. This has been one of the major successes of this pioneering digital tool that's building a developed India, Viksit Bharat. Prime Minister Narendra Modi visiting this PM Gati Shakti Anubhuti Centre at Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi. and lauding the completion of the 3 years of this scheme. India's President Droupadi Murmu is on a 3 African nation visit to Algeria, Mauritania and Malawi. In her first leg of the visit, she is en route to Algeria's capital city of Algiers. The visit comes a year after the African Union was made a permanent member of the G20 during India's presidency. This will be the first ever visit by an Indian head of the state to the 3 African nations. The President will address the India-Algeria Economic Forum and the Sidi Abdullah Science and Technology Pole University. She will also inaugurate the India Corner at Hamma Garden at Jordan Desai. This is the first ever visit by the President of India to the 3 African nations and comes a year after the African Union was made a permanent member of the G20 grouping during India's presidency. The state visit by President Murmu to Algeria, Mauritania and Malawi is reflective of India's deep desire to strengthen its partnership with the countries in Africa.
She will pay her respects at Maqam Shahid. Then she will proceed to have talks with His Excellency President Tabboune. She will receive 2 presidents of upper and lower house of the Algeria. So that also is going to be a good meeting where we will discuss the parliamentary exchanges. Then 15th in the morning, she will go to Sidi Abdullah Science and Technology Pole. So it's a hub of universities where that university will confer degree on Honorable Rashtrapati Ji. It's a doctorate that will be conferred upon her. Then she will also address the students there.
So India's President Droupadi Murmu has reached in Algiers, the capital of Algeria. This is part of a 3 African nation visit to Algeria, Mauritania and Malawi. We'll keep getting you updates as and when they arrive. As of now, let's head back to Europe, where Lithuanians headed to polls on Sunday to vote in the first round of the general elections, which are expected to see a change in government. The vote was dominated by concerns over the cost of living and potential threats from neighboring Russia. Opinion polls suggested that the ruling centre-right Homeland Union could be replaced by a centre-left coalition of the opposition Social Democrats. The 2 rounds of voting will see 141 members elected for a 4-year term. The Baltic state of 2.9 million people has a hybrid voting system in which half of the parliament is elected by popular vote with a 5% threshold needed to win the seats. Thousands of Spaniards in Madrid marched to call for better housing conditions on Sunday, carrying the slogan, "Housing is a right, not a business." Residents marched in the Spanish capital to demand lower housing rental prices and better living conditions.
We Spaniards cannot live in our cities. We are being driven out of the cities, not just out of the center. Cities don't belong to us, so we have to regulate it. The government has to regulate prices, to regulate housing.
We are adapting wages to current situation, trying to make a general increase in the wages by raising the minimum wage, or if not, trying to lower it, because it is not possible for the price of wages to remain the same while the price of housing goes up.
Over the last decades, homelessness has increased substantially across Europe. The European Commission said that the extent of the problem in Spain is masked by young Spaniards opting to live with their parents. According to a report, more than 60% of 18 to 34-year-olds live in their family home in Spain. Party leaders across Scotland paid tribute to late Scottish leader Alex Salmond on Saturday. Salmond died on Saturday after falling ill while attending a conference in North Macedonia. His party colleagues said that Salmond was a unique politician who gave his country back its self-belief and brought it close to gaining independence from the United Kingdom. After constitutional changes re-established a Scottish Parliament in 1999, Salmond oversaw the transformation of the Scottish National Party from a tiny number of lawmakers in London's Parliament to the dominant political force in Scotland. Google has asked a California federal judge to pause his sweeping court order requiring it to open up its App Store Play to greater competition. In a court filing, Google said U.S. District Judge injunction order, which goes into effect on November 1st, would harm the company and introduce serious safety, security and privacy risks into the Android ecosystem. The tech giant, a unit of Alphabet, asked the judge to stay the order while it pursues an appeal. The judge issued the injunction on October 7th in a case brought by Fortnite maker Epic Games, which persuaded a federal jury last year that Google was illegally monopolizing how consumers download apps on Android devices and how they pay for in-app transactions. And next we take a look at what else is making news around the world. North Korean state media aired a warning from Kim Yo-jong, sister of leader Kim Jong-un, threatening retaliation if South Korean drones enter Pyongyang's airspace. Kim Yo-jong condemned the South's military response to North Korea's accusation that Seoul sent drones over the capital. North Korea has claimed that the drones were sent into Pyongyang last week and demanded retaliatory measures. Mimaki Toshiyuki, the winner of 2024 Nobel Peace Prize, visited Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park to report the achievements of abolishing nuclear weapons campaign. Toshiyuki represented survivors of the atomic bombings of the Second World War and vowed to never give up campaigning to eliminate nuclear weapons. More than 6,000 cyclists joined the races in the Hong Kong Cyclothon on Sunday. Four-time Tour de France winner Chris Froome was among the riders who took part in the cyclothon. Participants had to finish the 50-kilometer ride in 80 minutes. A Royal New Zealand Navy ship reported a fuel leak while sailing aground near Samoa on Saturday. According to the New Zealand Defence Force, initial estimations indicate that up to 2 lakh litres of the 9 lakh litres of fuel on board had the potential to leak from the vessel tank. The public inquiry into the death of a British woman who was killed by Novichok nerve agent in 2018 will start on Monday. Britain said it would hold a public inquiry into the death of Dawn Sturges, who died after coming into contact with the Russian nerve agent in 2018. Still to come on DD India News Hour. Balochistan Liberation Army denies involvement in the mine attack. We discuss Pakistan's security concerns ahead of the SCO summit with our expert. India's Delhi Metro Rail Corporation's Line 4 achieves a milestone in carbon neutral certification.
Always welcoming. The vibe of Punjab is larger than life. Warm up to grandeur that's beyond compare. And history that's dotted with tales of bravery. Smiling soul of India, where music, art, cuisine and culture comes together to create an unforgettable impression. Punjab is all set to win your hearts with its unique and colorful extravaganza.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Here are the headlines we are tracking at this hour. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu urges UN chief to move peacekeepers in Lebanon out of harm's way immediately. Iran says there are no red lines in defending itself. Pakistan tightens security ahead of the SCO summit. Section 144 imposed in Karachi and Punjab provinces. Baloch Liberation Army denies involvement in the mine attack on workers in Balochistan. India's Gati Shakti National Master Plan completes 3 years of its success. Prime Minister Narendra Modi lauds the transformative initiative. Pakistan's capital, Islamabad, is gearing up to host the Shanghai Cooperation Organization SCO summit beginning on the 15th of this month. The capital city prepares its ambience with security on high alert for the three-day summit. Workers were seen putting up a banner with a portrait of Chinese Premier Li Keqiang with security personnel on high alert in Islamabad on Sunday. Pakistan's Foreign Affairs Ministry confirmed the Chinese leader's arrival on October 14th. The meeting of the SCO comprises 9 full members, including India, China, Iran, Russia. Meanwhile, restrictions under Section 144 have been imposed in Karachi and Pakistan's Punjab province ahead of the two-day SCO summit. So as the preparations are underway in Pakistan for the upcoming Shanghai Cooperation Organization SCO grouping on October 15th and 16th, but security concerns are rising ahead of the summit. An attack at mines in Duki district of Balochistan killed 21 coal mine workers on Friday. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack. Baloch Liberation Army BLA denied involvement in the attack. Earlier on October 6th, 2 Chinese nationals were killed in an explosion near Pakistan's Karachi International Airport. These attacks put a question mark on the security situation in the country. A report.
Pakistan witnessed yet another attack in Restiv Balochistan province on October 10. Dozens of attackers stormed a cluster of small private coal mines with guns, rockets and hand grenades. The attack left 21 mine workers dead. The attacks took place in mineral-rich Balochistan province, which borders Afghanistan and Iran.
I was compelled to come here for job. Otherwise, why someone would come here, where someone's arm is wounded, the other one's their leg, someone is on death bed. No one would be here. I was compelled to come here. I'm a poor Afghan. What shall I do?
The separatist group in Pakistan, Baloch Liberation Army, denied involvement in the attack. However, Pakistani police registered a case against human rights activist Dr. Maharang Baloch on the charge of aiding separatist groups in Balochistan. She termed police case coercive tactics. In social media post, Dr. Maharang Baloch said that these measures are part of a systematic campaign not only to harass me, but also to divert attention from the ongoing failure of security agencies to maintain law and order. Therefore, they keep shifting blame for their failures onto others. The attack triggered protest by local residents in front of Frontier Corps headquarters.
The state remains silent on the attacks, which is why our sit-in continues. This sit-in will continue until our demands are met. Our demand is that peace be restored in Duki district.
A decades-long insurgency in Balochistan by separatist groups has led to frequent attacks against the government, army and Chinese interests in the region, pressing demands for a share in mineral-rich resources. On October 6, 2 Chinese nationals working for a power plant were killed in a blast in Karachi. Baloch Liberation Army had claimed the responsibility for this attack. The attack was condemned by Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. China's foreign ministry on October 10 said it would work with Pakistani authorities to protect the safety and security of Chinese interests.
I can tell you that China will work with Pakistan to ensure the safety of Chinese personnel as well as projects and institutions in Pakistan.
Security has been strengthened in Islamabad as Pakistan gears up to host meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization on October 15 and 16 in Islamabad. Section 144 has been imposed in Rawalpindi till October 17 to maintain the law and order situation during the upcoming summit. Bureau Report, TD India.
And we are now joined by Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, former Director General Infantry, Indian Army, on the show. Thank you, sir, for joining us. He joins us from Noida and New Delhi. Sir, could you explain to our viewers first the current status of Baloch in Pakistan and the historical background to the current Baloch insurgent violence?
Thank you very much. I think Pakistan all along has been harboring terrorists. And Balochis have never felt a part of Pakistan. And it would be surprising that Pakistan forcibly annexed, I'm using the word forcibly annexed, that is the Kalat province in March of 1948. And Gwadar was bought from Oman in 1958. The Baluchis have never ever felt as part of it. And here, Pakistan, which can't be trusted, uses terrorism as an instrument of state policy, does all what it indulges in Kashmir unnecessarily for no rhyme or reason, knowing fully well that Kashmir has acceded voluntarily on the 26th of October 1947. Look at the dichotomy. So you find that obviously what Mrs. Clinton also said the same thing, that anyone who's trying to rear snakes in their backyard and they expect them not to be bitten by them, it's absolutely wrong. They are in I don't know which world Pakistan lives in. Now Baluchis, obviously the Baluch Liberation Army has been wanting to liberate itself because they feel that they are 44% of Pakistan's area, and about 4.5% of the population, and nearly about just contributing 3.5% of the GDP. And you have the highest illiteracy, highest poverty, highest infant mortality. That you name a thing that does not exist in Balochistan. The people are fed up. And there you have China taking away all the gold, all the copper, and all of the gas that is going there. The Baluchis feel very cut off that none of the kind of money that should come to them, it doesn't seem to come to Balochistan. And therefore, the Baluchis are mighty upset. But of course, this particular incident that has occurred, the Baluch Liberation Army has not taken, and it is presumed that probably it is someone from the establishment which may have executed, because so many people, the kind of rockets fired, the kind of grenades fired, the kind of weapons used for people while in sleep or lined up and killed, the BLS very clearly stated that they are not involved. But yes, they have also stated that in the earlier one, in which about 53 people were killed, in which about there were 14 to 18 security personnel, they have taken claim, yes, they have killed all of them. So in this context, I think there is a lot that Pakistan now needs to answer, because Baluchis and Pashtuns both seem to feel very, very strongly, because both, I would say the series, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto let them down, Zia let them down, Musharraf let them down. So all of these people who've let them down, the Baluchis feel that they don't seem to have a voice, and the Punjabis in Pakistan, which are about 45% of the population, seem to be ruling the roost. Everything has been cornered by the Punjabis. And therefore, the Baluchis are mighty cut off with the Pakistan administration, which is governed, ruled by, and Mufti over there, who's the chief minister presently of Balochistan, has very nicely stated that if they want him to resign, he is willing to resign. But that is not the case. That what is it that the Baluchis want? Baluchis want honorable living. Thousands and thousands of people have been found missing. Hundreds have been killed in judicial killing. They don't know what's happening in Balochistan. And on top of it, you find that what I was mentioning, Wadar, which came from Oman to Pakistan in 1958, outsourced to China in 2002, where Chinese investments are going over $60 billion as part of the China-Pakistan economic corridor. So you find that the Baluchis feel they are getting nothing, absolutely peanuts. And that is why you find this kind of an insurgency which has now developed in Balochistan, and much that the Pakistan establishment wants, that all of them, they're playing their Muslim card, Islam card, that we all are Muslim, let's stay together. Whereas the Baluchis and the Pashtuns have been saying, we are Muslims, there is no denying the fact, but we are first Baluchis, first Pashtuns, and thereafter we are Muslims and Pakistanis. And this is what is working, and I think Pakistan is now going to face real brunt of the kind of, you find the militancy which has sprung up in Balochistan for over 2 decades now.
Lieutenant General Kulkarni, these attacks are being seen as alarming due to their intensity and scale. Do you think the insurgents, Baloch insurgents, are receiving support from other countries?
Well, I wouldn't say that. The reason is, even though much of the signature drive is going on in UK, that wanting Baluchian independence from that point of view, the 18th anniversary of Bukti, who was supposedly was supposed to meet Musharraf, who did not meet him, and then subsequently got knocked off and his 18th anniversary found the 53 people killed in Balochistan was a result of all of it. And you find that there is nothing like that. And even the people have been saying, no, the SCO summit is there. It is nothing to do with the SCO summit. It is nothing. It has been going on for all. It is now that the SCO summit has come up. How come those thousands of people have been found missing? How come extrajudicial killings have been going on for long? How come so much of poverty is rests in Balochistan? And Pakistan itself is facing a problem. So much so that they have their own civil cadre. They have that 48th course and the 49th course, I understand. All of them have been sent to Balochistan to govern, because there is no governance, absolute no governance. The security forces are finding it extremely difficult to even move in Balochistan. And therefore, the Balochistan Liberation Army is obviously now on the front foot and giving it back to the Pakistan Army for all the exploitation that it has been doing of the Balochis in Balochistan. And even for China, 2 of the engineers lost their lives in Karachi. Now, Chinese have been wanting a division where Pakistan is in place for protection of the Chinese. Chinese itself require a division of Pakistan to ensure their security in Pakistan. This is the state that is happening in Pakistan, and Pakistan is economically absolutely in shambles. And I don't know how they're going to face, and there are 4 million refugees, 4 million Afghan refugees which were in Balochistan. Balochistan itself does not have anything to eat, and Pakistan decided to keep 4 million Afghan refugees in Balochistan. So that is the state of affairs.
Yes. And do you think the subject of Baloch is likely to be raised at the forthcoming Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Islamabad?
I doubt very much, not for any other reason, because Pakistan will so orchestrate it that nothing like this will come out. Yes, they would much want people to stay, but then you know how Shanghai Cooperation Organization is all about. It is all, with the Chinese taking a lead. You can see the posters in Pakistan, what it is all about. They wouldn't want to. But yes, the Chinese, backdoor positively are going to pressurize Pakistan that they are not going to accept the killing of their citizens in Pakistan. The engineers being killed time and again. They don't seem to be able to move out. And Gwadar port, but that they've invested so much of money, as yet nothing. So Balochis feel no fishing, no minerals, no royalty for the gas going. What is all this going on? So obviously, Balochis are bound to feel the pinch of it, and the lowest GDP and the lowest per capita income that you can ever think of. I think 1/4 of the Pakistan per capita GDP income is the Balochi that is getting. The Balochis are absolutely frustrated, and they don't feel a part of Pakistan. That is why we find Balochistan is kind of an insurgency, which now Pakistan has to face in its own backyard. And of course, Balochistan, as I said, is 44% of the Pakistan's area and bordering both Iran, Afghanistan. And this is where now Pakistan is in a dilemma.
Yes, and for now, security on high alert for the upcoming SCO summit. Thank you very much, Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, for being with us on the show. Moving on, the Delhi Metro Rail Corporation's Line 4 connecting Yamuna Bank with Vaishali in Ghaziabad has achieved carbon neutral certification on Sunday. The milestone underlines DMRC's commitment to reducing its carbon footprint and addressing climate change. DMRC has successfully minimized its carbon footprint by adopting energy-efficient technologies like regenerative braking in rolling stock, use of more renewable power in operations, construction of rainwater harvesting pits, efficient waste management systems, among other initiatives. Earlier, DMRC achieved carbon neutral certification for its corporate headquarters at the Metro Bhavan and the staff quarters in Noida. Delhi Metro Rail Corporation is also aligned with the Government of India's goal to reach net zero emissions by 2070. And now we take a look at other stories making news in India. The Central Consumer Protection Authority has ordered ride-hailing platform Ola to execute a procedure that shall help its riders at the time of grievance redressal process to get options of refund either directly to their bank account or via coupon. Further, the company is also ordered to issue a bill, receipt or invoice to all auto riders who use the platform for using the service. The mortal remains of former Maharashtra Minister and Nationalist Congress Party leader Baba Siddiqui were brought at Baba Qabristan at Bada Qabristan in Mumbai. Baba Siddiqui was shot dead near Nirmal Nagar in Bandra and later succumbed to bullet injuries at the hospital. Chief Minister Eknath Shinde had announced and instructed officials to organize the funeral with full state honours. Still to come on DD India News Hour. SpaceX launches its 5th test flight of its Starship rocket on Sunday. India clinches 3 bronze medals at the Asian Table Tennis Championship in Astana. And in tennis, Arna Sabalenka becomes the first player to win 3 successive Wuhan Open titles. All that and more on the other side. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching DD India News. I'm Tanvi Taneja. As part of India's first training squadron 1TS, the Indian naval ship Tir and Indian Coast Guard ship Veera reached at the port of Manama, Bahrain. The Indian Navy will join the Royal Bahrain Naval Forces on different realms of maritime operations, among others, to increase naval collaboration and interoperability. During this tour, various activities are arranged in which the navies will participate. In another port visit, Indian naval ship Shardul, part of 1TS, reached the UAE and will participate with the UAE Navy on various issues. The deployment of 1TS to Bahrain and UAE will not only expose the sea trainees towards various naval training activities, but will also endeavour to further the socio-political, military and maritime linkages. SpaceX launched its fifth test flight of its Starship rocket on Sunday as the company looks to make an ambitious attempt at catching the rocket's booster. Starship rocket will reach space and then travel halfway around Earth before re-entering the atmosphere and splashing down. In addition with this, the rocket's super heavy booster would return after separating from the Starship and land on the arms of the company's launch tower. SpaceX has flown the full Starship rocket system on 4 spaceflight tests so far, and each of the test flights have achieved more milestones than the last. October 13th is observed as the International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction the world over. With disasters becoming more frequent, global cooperation and local strategies are crucial in reducing risks and building a safer, sustainable world for all. This year's theme focuses on empowering the next generation for a resilient future. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya reports.
A rapidly warming planet possesses an urgent threat to life on Earth. On October 13th, the world observes International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction, a reminder for nations to assess their vulnerabilities and build resilient strategies. This year, the focus is on empowering the next generation to ensure a safer, more resilient future. Disasters often transcend borders, demanding a global response.
The Sendai
Framework, adopted by the UN, provides a more comprehensive roadmap for reducing disaster risk.
Man-made and natural hazards.
In recent years, India has faced several natural calamities, from the Gujarat cyclone to the Kerala floods. But through advancement in science and technology, the country has significantly minimized their impact.
Disaster-resilient infrastructure saves lives and livelihoods and ensures continuity of critical infrastructure services like power, transport, health, and communications. CDRI is a coalition of 40 countries and 7 international organizations that have come together to advance the resilience of new and existing infrastructure. The coalition focuses on building capacity with knowledge sharing, building evidence with technical studies and resilience programs, and undertaking global advocacy for promoting disaster-resilient infrastructure.
India's launch of the Infrastructure for Resilient Island States at COP26 further strengthens its commitment to safeguarding vulnerable regions. India's Prime Minister laid out a 10-point agenda on disaster risk reduction, advocating for community preparedness, technological innovations, and global cooperations. As we move forward, empowering the next generation remains essential in creating a resilient future for all. With camera person Anand, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from Delhi.
You're watching DD India News. Time now for some sporting action. India concluded its campaign at the Asian Table Tennis Championships in Astana with 3 medals on Sunday, including a historic bronze in the women's doubles. India bagged the bronze medal after Ahika Mukherjee and Sutirtha Mukherjee lost to Japan's Miwa Harimoto and Miyu Kihara in the semi-finals. Earlier, the Indian women's team had secured a historic bronze in the team event. In the men's category, India secured another bronze, their third in the tournament, after the team fell 0-3 to Chinese Taipei in the semi-finals. England secured a comfortable 10-wicket win against Scotland in Group B match of the Women's T20 Cricket World Cup on Sunday in Sharjah. With 110 runs to win, England raced to the target in a dramatic fashion. Both the openers, Mia Bouchier and Dani Wyatt-Hodge, scored half-centuries to notch up 113 without loss in just 10 overs. Bouchier led the attack, scoring unbeaten 62 of just 34 balls, which included 12 fours. The dominant win means that England will have the best net run rate in Group B, with one game against West Indies still to come. Earlier, Scotland finished with modest 109 for the loss of 6 wickets. Their campaign at the tournament has ended with 4 losses. On to tennis, top seed Aryna Sabalenka shook off a second set blip to win 3 back-to-back Wuhan Open titles. She beat Chinese 5th seed and home favourite Chen Qinwen 6-3, 5-7, 6-3 in the final on Sunday. Sabalenka did not face a single break point in the opening set, but world number 2 Sabalenka lost some control in the second set against the Paris Olympics gold medalist. However, Sabalenka raced to win in the decider set. She is the first player to win 3 successive Wuhan Open titles ever. Sabalenka is targeting to reclaim the top ranking in the final weeks of the season. World number 1 Jannik Sinner defeated 24-time Grand Slam champion Novak Djokovic 7-6, 6-3 on Sunday to win the Shanghai Masters. Sinner took a crucial break in the 4th game of the second set to defeat the Serb and deny him a 100th career singles title. The Serb had been hoping to become only the 3rd man to win 100 singles titles in the professional era after Jimmy Connors with 109 and rival Roger Federer with 103 titles. US Open and Australian Open champion Sinner, who levelled his head-to-head record against Djokovic at 4-4, has won 7 ATP titles this year. He has ensured the year-end number 1 ranking. Former Pakistan captain Babar Azam has been dropped for the second and the third test against England following a defeat in the series opening match. Babar struggled in the first test against England, managing just 35 runs across both innings. The newly formed selection committee has also rested pace duo of Shaheen Shah Afridi and Naseem Shah. Azam has not scored a 50 in his last 18 test innings. The out-of-form batsman will miss the upcoming 2 matches. The second test against England begins on Tuesday in Multan. England captain Ben Stokes looks on course to return for the second test against Pakistan starting in Multan on Tuesday. The 33-year-old had missed the first test, which England won under stand-in skipper Ollie Pope. England normally name their team 2 days before the start of a test, but will wait until a final verdict on Stokes' fitness on Monday before announcing their side. If Stokes is declared fit, he is likely to replace Chris Woakes. Ruth Chepiatek of Kenya has demolished the women's marathon world record by almost 2 minutes on Sunday to win the Chicago Marathon in 2 hours 9 minutes 56 seconds. She smashed the previous world record set by Ethiopia's Tigst Sefa in Berlin last year. Chepengich became the first woman to win Chicago race thrice. She also won in 2021 and 2022. She set a blistering pace from the start, running the first 5 kilometers in 15 minutes, and by halfway mark she had built a 14-second cushion. Ethiopian Sutume Kebere came second, while Kenyan Irene Cheptai finished third. Russian-born Canadian Arthur Beterbiev was crowned boxing's undisputed light heavyweight world champion. He beat Russian rival Dmitry Bivol on majority points decision in Riyadh on Sunday. 2 of the 3 ringside judges scored the fight 115-113 and 116-112 to Beterbiev, while the other called it tied at 114-114. And next, we take you to the streets of Berlin, where thousands flocked for the 20th anniversary of the Festival of Lights. The festival takes place every year in the fall. Every year, the spectacular creations of the Festival of Lights team, as well as invited artists, put Berlin in an extraordinary light with illuminations, artistic projections and 3D mappings under a certain motto. In the anniversary year, the motto, "Celebrating Freedom," focuses on freedom, self-determination and free development. Hundreds of spectators witnessed the beautiful show as they captured the colorful lights on their devices. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles. And for those on the go, you can catch all the latest news and updates on our DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. So we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.